Wuben stepped outside and searched around until he spotted Yarin standing alone in the corner. He walked toward her and noticed the tears in her eyes. Moving closer, he looked at her face, seeing how moved she was. She wiped her tears away and admitted that Minsu's speech had deeply touched her. She could only imagine the pain Minsu must have endured and how much worse it must have been for her growing up black in Korea. Yarin confessed that even she, as someone who was half Korean, still faced constant judgment, and she could only guess how heavy Minsu's struggles had been in comparison. Wuben listened carefully, then reminded her that despite everything, Minsu had come out stronger, and now had people around her who loved her deeply. He told her she deserved the same, and that whether she was half Korean or not, she was still fully Korean where it mattered most. If Minsu could do it, so could she, and no one had the right to tell her where she belonged. Yarin laughed softly through her tears and teased him for suddenly being so kind, joking that maybe he had already fallen for her. Wuben chuckled too and told her he simply understood her feelings, even if he could never fully live them himself. He pulled her into a gentle hug and promised to help her find out the truth about Minsu. If it turned out Minsu really was her sister, he said, then it would be a good thing. She would gain someone strong to learn from and lean on. Later that evening, Minsu's graduation party was held at home, with close family and friends gathering to celebrate. Laughter and warm chatter filled the room. Sonjin called for everyone's attention, a playful smile on his face. Wuben, always ready with his sarcasm, joked that he hoped it wasn't another pregnancy announcement, sending the room into laughter. Sonjin reassured everyone that they would have to wait another 5 years for that news. Then his tone softened as he turned to Minsu, telling everyone how proud he was of her. He spoke of how, since the moment she entered his life, she had been a light for him, and how he knew their meeting was not by chance, but fate. As a thank you for being a loving wife, he revealed that he had gifted her her own law firm. He reminded everyone that he had tried to give it to her before, but she had refused. This time, he wouldn't take no for an answer, because she truly deserved it and so much more. The room erupted in cheers as Minsu walked over to him, wrapping her arms around him and finally accepting the gift she had once turned down. Wuben, watching the beautiful moment unfold, suddenly felt the weight of his own thoughts press down on him. He stepped outside, needing space to breathe. Sitting alone in the garden, he thought about how his friend had finally found his happiness. A devoted wife, a child, a family of his own. Meanwhile, Wuben was still drifting, unsure where he belonged. Maybe he really was meant to walk through life alone. Maybe all those times he had joked about never wanting marriage had become a curse he'd cast on himself. As he sat lost in thought, Minsu's father stepped out and took a seat beside him, gently asking if he was all right. Wuben forced a small smile and nodded, explaining that he was just thinking too much. Minsu's father told him that from the first day he met him, he had always believed Wuben was a good man with a big heart, even if he was hard on him at times. He admitted that deep down he had once wished Wuben would be the man in Minsu's life. They both laughed quietly at that, and Wuben agreed it was good that Minsu ended up with someone even better than him, someone he trusted completely to love and protect her forever. Minsu's father nodded in quiet agreement, then reminded him that his time would come too. And even if it didn't, it only meant he was meant to follow a different path, one that would still bring him goodness in return for the good heart he carried. Wuben smiled faintly, hoping those words would come true. Then, shifting the topic, he asked if they had ever wanted Minsu to find her biological parents. Minsu's father explained that, for them, they had always seen themselves as her true parents, but if she ever wanted to find her roots, they would never stand in her way. He turned to Wuben curiously, asking why he was bringing this up now. Wuben hesitated, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a small envelope, placing it gently in front of him.